I'm often asked which luxury electric car to buy. If you want to buy an electric luxury car today, you should buy something which is priced around 60 lakh mark. So in that, there are not many options. But we will have soon this exciting proposition from Audi, which is in the shape of Q6 e-tron. Now don't get me wrong, Q8 e-tron is a very great car. So is the Mercedes EQE. Almost every luxury brand, every other car manufacturer has dropped their electric cars on the Indian market. It's raining electric. But we both know that electric cars in the luxury space are not selling. Rightly so, because the price points are on the other side of crore mark and you don't know what the future lays ahead. I understand. I mean, for a consumer to buy just the green badge and to save the planet, you can't land up spending so much of money. So the sweet spot is a spot where you buy something around 70-80 lakhs, which gives you enough range, and it's an exciting proposition. And that car is this. It completely displaces the notion that Audis are boring. The future e-trons are going to be a whole lot exciting because Audi has just flicked the button which is going to change the game in the name of e-tron electric cars. I say this with a lot of conviction because I am convinced that the Q6 e-tron makes for a very, very interesting proposition. In terms of driving performance, the SQ6 is totally a beast, This of course has a range of 625 km, but it's not that. It is the electric motors because it's got twin electric motors, one on the front axle and the second on the rear axle, and it's more rear based. So when it's rear based, of course it's going to be more fun. As you can see right now, the moment I press the drive select, which changes to dynamic mode, this totally blows your mind. Of course, this is coming out of speakers because this is an EV, it cannot make any sound. But sometimes this delusion is good because end of the day, if you watch a movie, it's a delusion. The same thing with this. The moment you press dynamic mode, they have given that sound which you require from a performance vehicle. This right now is riding on air suspension, so ride quality is very, very pliant. But I'm not sure, given the Audi guys have not confirmed us, whether the one which is coming to India will have the steel dampings or will have the air suspension, or will that come as an option? The steel dampings are not bad, but air suspension takes it to another level. Great car to drive. I really don't have any complaints. It's a four-wheel drive, so the quattro, the steering, it's a new design language of the steering. It's an hexagonal shape, and to tell you what, I think I like it because it's not that stiff like a Q7, but at the same time it's not that fragile. You know that you are holding something very interesting, and it's just pretty precise. And what is not checked is the Q6, which will be driving tomorrow, and we'll try and tell you what that will be, because honestly the normal Q6 would be the one which will make a lot of sense and which will be the one which will make the cash register ringing. This is the Audi Q6. On the face of it, the acceleration is actually very nice. If I had not driven the SQ6 earlier, this would be a great experience. It's dialed down. It's not as wild as the SQ6, obviously, but this is not bad. Trust me, this is not bad. In terms of the ride quality, everything is remaining the same. What I wanted to check was that in terms of power delivery, in terms of performance, how much lower it is from the SQ6, because it's going to be an important car for our market, because this is what will sell, because this is going to be at an attractive price point, because the Q6 e-tron makes a very strong case if it's priced right. So in that case, this version is even better. So I'm happy to report, ladies and gentlemen, that the Q6 is a great car to drive. It's very, very exciting. Look at it, winding roads, and I'm going hard, and I'm in dynamic mode. No problem, I get that enjoyment. The problem is that I've just driven the SQ6 and I'll have to go back to SQ6. So let's go back. everything has changed. It's a completely built up new car with a new chassis, with a new drivetrain, the range and the electronics inside. And from the design perspective, let me just show you a couple of things. This is an inverted grille. The Q8 e-trons, the design language is little very silhouette. It's not, really pushes you to be very aggressive, but this one looks that part. The matrix LED pattern, all of that continues from his journey, from his previous design language, but without changing much. It has changed a lot. Then you come here, it is a long wheelbase with a shorter overhang, which again gives it a very cool looking stance. The badging of e-tron, this color actually doesn't do justice, and it's also very gloomy weather here. And from the rear, it might look a little tapered, but this is going to be your everyday car. This is an SQ6, but I'm talking about the Audi Q6 e-tron, which is just the same thing. Exciting things are actually inside, and for that we have to hop inside. And this is what I'm talking about. Now, of course, this is an SQ6, so the seats are more sportier. There's this red stitching, and it's a bucket seat. It holds you well. All of that thing is there. But apart from that, the whole interior has completely changed, and this is going to be the cabin experience for all the Audis going forward. This is an OLED screen in front of you here, right here. This is an LED screen for the passengers, and it's also got privacy because from the driver's side you can't see much. In terms of usage, this is so smooth. It's very, very fluid. You get a massage function in the front seats, and you get a new steering wheel, and the steering is actually very nice to grab. Apart from that, this also has changed. Previous Audis used to have a screen here for temperature control. That's moving away, and you got some more storage space, 2 C-type ports, which is actually what you needed, because this was honestly not making any sense. But it used to look good, but this is a much better interface. This black piano finish looks again very premium. You get 2 coffee holders, and this is something that we know Audi used to have this, and they've continued that thing. Overall, the interior is totally changed in terms of tech. When I'm driving and use a navigation button, actually the navigation comes from the speakers here, so my co-passenger doesn't get to hear the turn-by-turn navigation, and that's something very cool. That's very thoughtful of Audi. The speakers also are very nice because they have a surround system. You really can't go wrong in terms of entertainment, in terms of tech, because they have thrown in literally everything that is required to be thrown in. Let me show you the leg room at the back seat. In terms of width, it's the same as the Q8 e-tron, but in terms of length, it's reduced. It's shrunk by I think 13 mm or something. There's not much leg room, though I'm sitting very comfortably. The co-passenger seat is adjusted to my driving when I was sitting there, but I'm still very comfortable. But I would have liked it if there was more leg room, though the seats are scooped out, so in case of a taller guy, maybe 6 feet 5 inches, would find it very complicated, but those are not our Indian average heights. What is missing is a sunroof. Audi has confirmed that there's no sunroof coming with the Q6 e-tron, so I would have liked if there was at least a glass fixed panel so that it gives you more breathing room. Right now it kind of gives you a sense of being a little claustrophobic at the back seat, but I have a lot of headroom here, and I get a manual sunblind, which is very interesting. The central armrest is very basic with 2 cup holders. You don't need much, and overall, if you see, this is a very decent space. And because of lack of a transmission tunnel, even the third passenger will find himself very comfortable. The 2 C-type ports, there's not much you can do. Let me show you the storage. 526 liters, and that's how a 526 liters boot space looks like. You have almost 3 big large suitcases. Still there's some room to stuff it up, but these are sloping roof lines, so you cannot make this stand, but it's a very, very decent space. There is a spare wheel tire here. You also get a 64 liters of front space in the front, which is good to carry your charging cable, because that will always get dirty. This will be separate from what you have with the rear, which is again humongous. So overall, storage has been really beefed up in the Audi Q6 e-tron. Audi has been playing with a lot with the lights. 70 matrix lights on each side with 61 customizable patterns. It's not only that, come to the rear. Rear you get 6 OLED lights and overall 60 customizations. You can see this small pattern, if the camera can catch it, these triangles. If you are buying a luxury car, you want to make it look very different, and this is what you can do in the Audi Q6 because you get too many options. And OLED at the rear is again new. So in terms of tech, it's not only tech at the inside which is going to be very, very impressive. The tech outside also is very, very impressive. it's time for a verdict. I'm standing right now in a beautiful vineyard in Bilbao in Spain, all greenery around me. It reminds me that in order for us to leave this for our future generations, we have to embrace EV, and for doing that there is no going back. All manufacturers have announced, Audi, the Volkswagen Group, everybody has announced, and this is going to be the future. So like it or not, this is something that we have to embrace it. So now, keeping that thing in mind, how does the Q6 fit in the whole proposition? So this is a very sweet spot, as I told you at the beginning, because this will come at a price point of about 80 lakhs. If it's less than that, the more lesser it is, the more attractive it will get. And the more attractive it will get, the more people will try to buy the Q6, because this is also a daily driver car. It also has a great performance. Range wise, you know, it gives in very generous range of 625 kilometers WLTP, which is huge. 100 kilowatt of battery, new lithium technology, which again gives it a more range. New chassis, the drivetrain is completely new. So everything that Audi has done is keeping that future in mind. Would be interesting to know how does this do well. The only thing which is not going for the Q6 is probably the rear seat. This is something which I did not like so much. They could have given it some more space, because they've given us a very generous boot. They could have done some adjustment there, because boot you don't use every day, but this you use every day. Now, design again is subjective, but this is something that it will grow on you, because this gives the Audi DNA with a distinction. Now that's very interesting. Comment down below what you think about it. As for me, it all depends on the price point. The lower barometer of the 80 lakhs, this is going to make more interesting case. The more higher it gets, it becomes less exciting a proposition. I'll leave you on that note. I'm going to go back, probably pick a bottle of wine, and see you in the next one.